Hello, my name is Tiana. I'm gonna read you Hour of the Olympus. Yeah, but it only pause. Okay, fine. Okay, so it's like a princess is reading with you. Okay, let's go. Ology. On summer day in Frockwick, Pennsylvania, a mysterious trias appeared in the woods. 8-year-old Jack and a 7-year-old sister, Annie, climbed into the grass. They found that it was filled with books. Jack and Annie soon discovered that the trias was magic. It could take them to the places in the books. They all had to do was to point to the picture and reach to go to Caesar's books.
What pile of books?
I don't know. This time I think it's gonna go to Olympics. I know. Along the way, they discovered that the trios belongs to Morgan, let's say. Morgan is a magical librarian from the time of King Arthur. He travels through time and space gathering books. In the Magic Trios books,
Number
8
to
to
12.
12, Jack and Annie solved the Asian riddle that became master librarians to help them in their future tasks. Morgan gave Jack and Annie secret library cards with the letters M.L. on them. Jack and Annie's first 4 missions are to save stories from Asian librarians. This is the 4th mission. Chapter 1. Just one more. Is you awake? Annie's voice came out of the dark. Yep, said Jack from his bed. Get up, said Annie. We have to get to the trust before sunrise. I'm ready, said Jack. He threw back his covers and jumped out of bed. He was wearing his jeans and t-shirt. You slept in your clothes? Asked Annie. I didn't want to waste any time, said Jack. He pulled on his backpack and he laughed. You must really be excited about going to ancient Greece, she said. Yep, said Jack. Do you have your secret library card? Asked Annie. Yeah, do you? Said Jack. Sure. Put it in your backpack, she said. She handed her card to him. I'll carry the flashlight. All set, said Jack. They tiptoed downstairs and out the door. Outside there was fresh and cool. There's no moon, said Annie. Just stars. She turned on her flashlight. Ta-da! She said. Let's go. They followed the beam of light across their yard and up the street. Jack was thrilled to be going on ancient Greece, but something worried him. What do you think will happen after we go to Greece? He asked Annie. Is this our last mission ever? Oh, I hope not, said Annie. What do you think? I don't know. Let's ask Morgan, said Jack. Hurry, said Annie. They started running. The flashlight beam flew in front of them, lighting the way. They slowed to a walk when they got to Frockwick Woods. The thick woods were pitch black. Annie shined the flashlight upward as they walked between the trees. Finally, they found the magic trio. We are here, Annie called. Going up, said Jack, and he grabbed the rope ladder and started up. Jack followed. Annie shined the flashlight around house. Morgan Faye was sitting at the window. She covered her eyes when the light hit her face. Turn off the light, please, Annie, she said softly. Annie turned it off. Welcome, Morgan said in the dark. Are you ready for the next mission? Yes, said Annie. Then her voice got quiet. This isn't our last one ever, is it? Ask me the question after this mission, said Morgan. We want to go on more, said Jack. You're very brave to say that, said Morgan. You've had 3 very hard journeys as master librarians. Oh, they weren't so hard, said Jack. You risked your life to save the lost story of Hercules, said Morgan. It was nothing, said Annie. And Chin's story of Silk River, said Morgan. And Ivy's story of the surf and monster surf. Thank you. You're welcome, said Jack and Annie. Now, said Morgan. For the last story, Jack heard the rustling sound. Here's the title, Morgan said. You can shine your light on it, Annie. Annie turned the flashlight back on. She shined it on the paper. I do not really know what that means, but let's read it again. Wow, is that great? I don't know if that's great, asked Jack. It certainly is. Oh, I didn't know it was, said Morgan. She reached to her robe again and pulled out a book. For your research, she said. Jack took the book from her and he shined her flashlight on the cover. They read the title, A Day in Ancient Greece. Now, Mommy, what must you always remember? Asked Morgan. Our research book will guide us, said Jack. But in our darkest hour, we all need a lost story can save us, said Annie. Morgan nodded. And you must show your secret library card to the wisest person you meet, she said. Don't worry, we will. Bye, said Annie. Jack shivered with excitement as he pointed at the book's cover. I wish we could go there, he said. And I wish we could go on lots of other missions. And he added. The wind began to blow. The chair started to spin. It spun faster and faster. Then everything was silent. Absolutely silent. Any girls here? Any girls here, actually? I don't know. Jack opened his eyes. Warm sunshine streamed into the stairs. We sure don't need flashlights here, he said. Look, Morgan gave us clothes like the ones we wore in Pompeii, said Annie. Jack looked down. His clothes were similar to ones he'd worn to Roman town and Pompeii. A tunic and sandals. He also had a leather bag in place of backpack again. Annie looked out the window, and he landed in an olive tree, just like Pompeii, said Annie. Jack looked out the window. He caught his breath. Are we in the wrong place? He asked. I don't know, said Annie. Look past the trees. Doesn't it look like a big fair? Jack looked, and he was right past the olive grove. It was a field filled with white tents. Beyond the field were red brick buildings with columns and huge crowd of people. What's going on? Jack asked. He pulled his picture book out of his little bag. He found a picture of a tent outside. Below the picture were the words. Let's see what the words are. The Olympic Games began in ancient Greece over two 2,500 years ago. Every 4 years, more than 4 million people traveled to Olympia, the town where the Festival of Athletic Games took place. Oh, Mom, Jack whispered. We're at the Asian Olympics. Cool, said Danny. Jack wrote his note in his notebook. Let's read it. Olympia first Olympics take place. Come on, let's go watch. Annie said. She started down the rope ladder. He threw his notebook and research book into the little bag. Don't forget, we have to get Morgan's story too, he said as he followed Annie. Annie waited as Jack stepped to the ground. Then they walked through the olive grove to where the tents were. Jack heard a pipe music and smelled food roasting over fires. Groups of men talked exactly to one another. That's funny, said Annie. I don't see any girls here. Oh, sure, there's girls, said Jack. Where? Said Annie. Show me. Jack looked around, but he only saw men and boys. No women or girls at all. Then he saw an outdoor theater and a woman was standing on the stage. She had yellow hair and purple tunic. There, said Jack, pointing. What's she doing? Asked Annie. A soldier was on the stage with her.
Soldier.
She wore a long cape. A helmet with red crest hid her face. The woman and the soldier were waving their arms and talking loudly to each other. I think they're doing a play, said Jack. I'll look. He pulled out the Greek book and found a picture of a theater. Listen, he said. He read aloud. The Greeks were first to write plays. Many English words for the theater came from Greek words, such as drama, scenery, actors. Many Greek plays are still performed today. Hey, Jack, said Annie, you're wrong. When Jack looked up, he saw the woman had pulled off her wig. It was a boy dressed up as a woman. See, even she's a boy, said Annie. That's weird. Said Jack. She went on reading. A few actors would play many different parts in the same play. Women were not allowed to act, so men played the female roles too. That's not fair, said Annie. What if a woman wanted to be in a play? Don't worry about it, said Jack. He pulled the book away. Let's just take a peek at the Olympics. Then find out our story. He nudged Annie to move along. Just then he heard a voice. Wait! They turned around. A man with a short white beard was walking towards them. Hello, said the man. He was looking right at Annie. Who are you? Who are you? Annie asked boldly. The secret poet. The beard man smiled at Annie. My name is Plato, said Plato. Said Jack. That name sounded familiar. You might have heard of me, the man said. I was a philosopher. What's that mean? Said Annie. A lover of wisdom, said Plato. Wow, said Annie. Plato smiled at her. It's odd to see a girl walking so bravely through Olympia, he said. You must be from far away. We're Jack and Annie, said Annie, and we come from Frog Creek. Pennsylvania is very far away. Plato looked puzzled. Annie turned to Jack. I think we should show in our card, she said in a low voice. He was a lover of wisdom. Jack nodded. He reached out in his bag and took out a secret library card. He showed them to Plato. The letters M and L that stood for Master Labyrinth glittered one on the card. Amazing, said Plato. I've never met such young master librarians. Why have you come to Olympia? Jack pulled out a piece of paper with the title of the story. We're looking for this story, he said. I don't know what this means though. Oh yeah, said Plato softly. This was written by a brilliant poet, a friend of mine. In fact, do you know where the poet lives? This was written by a brilliant poet, a friend of mine. In fact, do you know where the poet lives? Asked Jack. Very near here, said Plato. Will you take us there? Asked Annie. Yes, but I must warn you. Never tell anyone who the poet is, said Plato. It's a secret. We won't, whispered Annie. Plato led them away from the outdoor theater. They started down a dark road. It was crowded with people heading to the games. Plato stopped at the door of a sand-colored house with a brick roof. He opened the door and led Jack and Annie into the empty courtyard. Wait here, he said. He disappeared through the doorway. Jack and Annie looked around. Rooms opened onto the sunny color courtyard. Everything was quiet. The people who live here must have gone to the games, said Annie. I bet you're right, said Jack. He pulled out a Greek book and found a picture of a house. He read aloud. Men and women lived in separate parts of Greek house. Women spent most of their time spinning and waving and taking care of kitchen. Boys were sent away to school when they were 7. Girls were not allowed to go to school. Girls can't go to school, said Annie. How do they learn to read and write? At the moment Plato returned with him was a young woman dressed in a long tunic with a colored border. She was holding a scroll. Annie smiled a big smile. Finally, she said, another girl. Jack and Annie meet our secret poet, said Plato. Not fair, the young woman smiled at Jack and Annie. How did you learn to read and write? Annie asked. I taught myself, the woman answered. She wrote a poem and brought it to me, said Plato. Because I have written and told the people that I think Greek girls should go to school and learn things. Is that the poem? Said Jack. He pointed to the poet's scrawl. The poet hung Jack's school. He put it into his backpack. He taught your name, said Danny, so we can tell people you wrote the story. The young woman shook her head. I cannot, she said. When she saw Annie's sad face, she added, you can tell people it was written by a annoying mouse. That's your name? Asked Annie. No, annoying mouse means that no one knows who wrote it, said Plato. But that's not true, said Annie. I'm afraid the risk is too great, said Plato. Annie looked back at the woman. I'm sorry, said Annie. It's not fair, not at all. The poet smiled at her. I'm happy that you will take my story to country, she said. Perhaps someday women everywhere will write books just like men. They will, said Jack. I promise. The young woman looked at him, puzzled. It's true, said Annie. Thank you, Annie, the young woman said. And thank you, Jack. He bowed, then hurried out the courtyard. Wait, said Annie. She started to go after the poet, but Plato stopped her. Come along, he said. The games will start soon. Plato led Jack and Annie out of the treehouse, back onto the dirt road. Girls can't write stories, groaned Annie. They can't go to school. They can't be in plays. I've had enough ancient Greece. Let's get out of here. Wait, said Jack. What about the Olympics? Oh yeah, said Annie. I forgot. Brighter, I almost forgot. Well, said Plato slowly, I would like to take you both to the games. I have special seats in a viewing box. However, she looked at Annie. Don't tell me, she said. Girls can't go to the Olympics either. Plato shook his head. A girl will get in trouble if she goes to the game, he said. And besides, it's really not fair, she said. I'm sorry, said Plato. My country is a democracy. We believe in freedom for our citizens. But I'm afraid right now that only means men. And he's right. It's not fair, said Jack. I think we should go home now. No, Jack, you go to the Olympics, said Annie. At least you can tell me about it. Take note. What about you? Jack said. I'll go back and play the outdoor theater. And said, meet me there when you're done. Jack didn't want to leave Annie alone, but she also didn't want to miss the Olympics. Go, have fun. Annie said. She began to walking away. I'll see you later. Bye, Plato. Bye, Annie, said Plato. Annie turned back again and waved. I'll tell you about it, Jack called. This way, said Plato. She and Jack turned and joined the crowd heading toward the Olympic ground. Hi, Jairus. Jairus!
finally.
This is the very first day of games, Plato told Jack. The day of chariot races. Oh wow, whispered Jack. He couldn't believe he was going to see a chariot race. The modern Olympic Games didn't have chariot races. They walked toward the racetrack. Plato pointed to a large building near the road. That is the gymnasium. She said, it is this where our elves train. They practice running and throwing and javelin and disputes. We have gymnasium at our school in Frog say Jack. We call it a gym. People all over the world copy us. Greek. Plato said. Wait, I have to take notes for Annie. He pulled out his notebook and wrote, Asian group invented games. Okay, we can go, said Jack. He tucked his notebook under his arm as they moved along. Plato pointed to a beautiful tree nearby. The olive tree is our sakar tree, she said. The winner of the game will wear crowns made of its branches. Oh wow, said Jack. And he wrote, olive trees is sacred. Next, they passed a beautiful statue of a winged lady. Who's that? Said Jack. She's Knight of Goddess of Victory, said Plato. Jack quickly wrote, Knight is Goddess of Victory. Knight is important to the games, said Plato. But the most important Olympic god is in there. He took Jack's brick buildings. He took with a huge clump. They stepped through the door. It was temple. Jack got. In front of them loomed the biggest statue he had ever seen. The statue was at least sitting on his throne. This is the temple of Zeus. And that is the statue of Zeus himself, said Plato. Their Olympic games are played in honor. He, the chief god of Greek gods and goddesses. Oh man, whispered Jack. Yesterday all the assholes came here, said Plato. They swore to Zeus that they had trained for 10 months, and they promised to obey the rules of the games. The statue of mighty Greeks god stared down at Jack. Jack felt very small. Hi, Zeus, he said. His voice was small too. Suddenly, trumpet sound came out. The hour has come, said Plato. We must hurry. The Olympic parade begins. Mysterious man. Plato Jack hurried past the crowd standing at the side of the racetrack. Everyone was shouting and cheering. I have seats next to judges, said Plato. He pointed to a tall stand with rows of benches. Plato led Jack through the crowd and up the steps to their seats. Wow, damn, said Jack. He had a great view. The Olympic parade had already started. The midnight played pipes at the front. Behind them marched the Olympic athletes, the best of the Greeks. Jack sat as he watched the parade going around the track. Annie would really love this, he thought. The athletes in front are the runners. They planned the foot races. Are the oldest, even the oldest. Jack pulled out his notebook and wrote, oldest event is foot races. Behind the runners are the boxers, said Plato. They're wearing special gloves and bronze helmets, Jack wrote. Boxers wore gloves and helmets. Behind them were whistlers, said Plato. And Jack wrote whistlers. When Jack looked up again, he saw a soldier standing above him from the sidelines. The soldier was dressed like an actor from the actor's theater. He had on a long cape and a red crest helmet that covered most of his face. But something was strange. This soldier was short, really short. He came calm in disguise and yelled vanillin throwers, said Plato. And then the man in armor. What do they do? Asked Jack. They raised were full armors, said Plato. Jack smiled to himself. He knew Annie would think that was funny. He wrote in his notes, some runners race in armor. Jack finished writing. He looked back at the short soldier. In a moment, the chariot races will begin, said Plato, winning the chariot race in the greatest honor of the games. Jack just nodded. He was still studying the short soldier, who seemed to be looking back at him. Suddenly a small hand came out from the soldier's coat. The hand gave a little wave. Jack gasped. It was Annie's hand waving. The short shoulder was Annie. Go, go, go! Jack stared at her at Annie. She must have borrowed a costume from the theater. He remembered Plato's words. A girl will get in trouble. Trouble if she tries to attend only pick games. Jack shook his head at her and pointed his finger as if to say, get out of here. But Annie just waved at him again. Jack kept kicking his head at Annie. He even shook his fist. Annie turned back to watch the race. It's not a joke, Jack shouted. Plato turned and looked at him. Of course not. We take the game very seriously. Jack felt his face grow hot. They glared at Annie's back. Just then, trumpet sounded. The chariots are taking their places, said Plato. Jack saw the dozen of chariots lined up on the racetrack. Each chariot was pulled by 4 horses. Jack glanced back at Annie. She was looking up at him, pointing at the chariot. The trumpet sounded again. The horses took off. The crowd went wild. They were cheering and screaming and stamping their feet. Clouds of dust rose up as the chariot raced and the track. Annie turned back to watch the race. She began to jump up and down. Go, 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 she shouted. A few people began staring at the strange small soldier with a high-pitched voice. Jack couldn't take it anymore. He had to get Annie away before it was too late. He shoved his notebook into his pack. I have to go, he shouted to Plato. The philosopher looked surprised. Jack was afraid to tell him that Annie had broken the rules. I had great time, but I have to go home. Now, said Jack. Thanks for everything. Have a safe journey, said Plato. Jack waved and started down the steps. Jack waved. As he climbed down, he saw Annie pull off her helmet. Her pigtails flew up and down as she jumped and shouted, Go, go, go! Her soldier cape fell off. Now lots of people were staring at her. Someone shouted for the carriage, and he was too busy cheering to notice anything. Jack moved as quickly as he could, but 2 big guards got to Annie first. Save Annie! The guards tried to pull Annie away from the chariot race. Annie looked surprised. Then she looked angry. Let go of me, she shouted. Jack rushed down the steps of viewing stand. The guards were having a hard time pulling Annie through all the people. Leave her alone, Jack yelled. His voice was loud in the noise of race. He pushed the way through the crowd. Leave her alone, he kept shouting. Leave her alone. Finally, Jack reached Annie and her guards. He tried to grab her, but the guards blocked his way. Let go of her, yelled Jack. I promise I'll take her home. More guards arrived. The crowd began to shout. Arrest her! Arrest her! The guards kept pulling Annie away. Jack! The story, cried Annie. Of course, thought Jack. The poet's story is definitely our darkest hour. He reached into his bag and pulled out the poet's book. She held the story up the sky. Save Annie, she shouted, but Jack's voice was again lost in the roar of the great 4-horse chariot barrels through the dust. Jack looked around. Wildly from someone or something to help them. Then suddenly the crowd fell silent. All heads turned to watch a huge white horse galloping out of the dust. The crowd murmured with excitement and wonder. The white horse was the most beautiful animal Jack had ever seen. It was pulling an empty chariot. And it was galloping straight toward Jack. fly away home. The white horse stopped at the low wall by the edge of the track. "He's come for us," cried Danny. The guard stared in away at the horse, and he broke free and dashed over to Jack. He grabbed her hand and ran to the horse. The guard shouted and started after them. But they were too late. Jack and Annie had already climbed over the wall and into the waiting chariot. "Go, go, go!" Annie cried to the huge white horse. The horse whirred and pawed the air. The crowd stepped back from the wall. The guards froze. Jack looked up to where Plato was now standing. Plato smiled and waved at him. Then the white horse leaped forward, pulling the chariot behind him. Jack couldn't even wave back to Plato. All he could do was hold on tight as the horse galloped beside the Olympus racers. Jack bounced up and down. Dust and sand got in his eyes. He squeezed them shut and crouched down in the chariot. He didn't know where they were going, but it didn't matter. The white horse was in charge. Jack heard a thundering noise of the racing horses and chariots. He heard the scream crowd. He felt sand blowing in his face and the hard bumping and rattling of the chariot. Suddenly, he was thrown backwards. He heard a swoosh of wind and silence. "Oh, wow!" cried Danny. Jack opened his eyes. All he saw was a blue sky. He pushed his glasses into place and looked around. "Help!" he cried. The white horse had grown giant feathery wings and was pulling the chariot into the sky. Jack gripped the railing of the chariot and held on for his life. "To the treehouse!" shouted Danny. Below, the uniformed crowd watched in student silence. The winged horse left the games behind and flew over to the temple of Zeus, where the statue of Nike over the scarce olive tree and the gymnasium. And they went over the poet's house. The Greek theater and the field was quite tense. Finally, the winged horse crossed to the ground near the olive grove. The field of chariot bumped onto the grass. Then slowly they came to a stop. Jack and Annie stepped out the chariot. Jack's legs were so wobbly he could hardly walk. Annie rushed to the horses and stroked his neck. "Thank you," she whispered. Jack patted the horse's long white neck too. "Thanks," he said. "That was the best ride of my life." The horse snorted and pawed the ground. "Come on," said Annie. "We have to go before they find us," said Jack. "I don't want to leave him," said Annie. She was the most beautiful horse in the whole world. Her eyes filled with tears. "We have to," said Jack. The horse put his head down and touched Annie's forehead with his soft nose. Then he gave her a gentle push toward the path. Annie sniffed but started walking. Jack took her hand as they walked through the olive grove to the rope ladder of the tree house. "You first," Jack said. Annie started up the ladder. Jack followed. When they were inside, Annie hurried to the window. Jack grabbed the penny Sylvia book, pointed at the picture of the frog-cake witch, and said, "I wish, look," said Annie. Jack looked out the window. The horse had spread his gray feathery wings. He was racing from the field. The white horse flew high into the blue Olympian sky. He disappeared behind the cloud. Bye, Colin. A tear rolled down her cheek. Jack pointed again, the pin fell the other. I wish we could go there, he said. The wind started to blow. The treehouse began to spin. It spun faster and faster. Then everything was still. Absolutely still. They're all here. Jack opened his eyes. It was so dark he couldn't see anything. He felt his clothes. He was wearing his t-shirt and jeans again. And Leatherback had turned back into his backpack. Hello, said Morgan. Say, her voice came from a corner of the field. Hi, said Danny. Did you have a good journey? Asked Morgan. I did, said Jack, but the girl can't do anything fun in a century. I did one fun thing, and he said wistfully. I rode a child pulled by a flying horse. That must be wonderful, said Morgan. You're very lucky to be bringing the story of Pegasus. Who, said Jack. Pegasus, said Morgan. He was the great white-winged horse in Greek mythology. Oh yeah, said Jack. I think I've heard of him. He felt in his backpack, found the screw. He gave the Morgan he could still barely see in the dark. It was written by anonymous, said Danny. I know, said Morgan. Many talented women used that name in past. Her story will be a great addition in my calendar. Library. Platt helped us find it, said Jack. Ah, my good friend Plato, said Morgan. He was the one of the greatest thinkers who ever lived. And Pegasus was the greatest horse, said Danny. She said, I just wish I could see him again. You can, Morgan said softly. He's here right now. Pegasus cried Danny. Oh boy! And he turned on the flasher and used it to find a way down the rope ladder. Jack grabbed his backpack and followed her. Where were they both standing? On the ground. And he shined a flashlight at the dark trees. Pegasus, she said, where are you? Pegasus, turn off your flashlight, Danny, said Morgan. She was looking down from the tree window and switched off the light. In the night, you can see all story chapters that saved you on your last fourth mission. They all hear Hercules and Silk Waver serve the serpent monster Pegasus. Jack pushed his glasses into place and studied the dark woods. Where are they, Morgan? Cried Danny. Where's Pegasus? Look hard, said Morgan. You can see him, said Danny. Yes, you can, said Morgan. The old stories are always with us. We are never alone. Has Morgan gone crazy? Wondered Jack. Look up, said Morgan. Your friends are in the night sky. They are the stars. Stars, whispered Jack. He stared at the shimmering field of tiny stars overhead. Hercules in the constellation, said Morgan. The Brumas imagined him kneeling in the sky, holding the club over his head. Morgan waved her finger at the sky. For a moment, Jack saw a living breath, her clues outlined by stars. And the Silk River with the bills clouds, said Morgan. The ancient chimes believed there were two stars on either side of the Milky Way. Morgan waved her hand again. A lovely Silk River outlined his. And long ago, the Irish believed the Milky Way itself was the serpent monster's scarf, said Sarah. said Morgan. Morgan waved her hand as the giant serpent glittered through the sky. And the ancient Greeks named one of their constellation Pegasus, said Morgan. She waved her hand again, and a white horse had wings and galloping legs floated the night sky. I see him, said Lenny. Then she whispered, I love you, Pegasus. Jack thought he saw the stars move as if Pegasus were rearing back in the sky. After a brief moment, the silence Morgan lowered her arm. The night sky became a field of tiny glittering stars again. You have done amazing work as Master Librarian, said Morgan. I would trust you with my important mission. Does that mean we're going on more trips? Asked Jack. Indeed, it does, said Morgan. Many more. Jack smiled with relief. When is our next mission, said Lenny. As soon as I need your help, I will send for you, said Lenny. Go home now and rest. Goodbye, said Lenny. Goodbye, said Jack. Farewell, said Morgan. Said was the sudden rushing of the wind and a blur of blinding light, and Morgan left fade and the magic trust vanished. The light was still home. Ask Jenny, sure, said Jack as they walked between the trees. The frosty woods was pitch black. Jack couldn't see a thing, but he didn't ask Annie to turn on the flashlight for once. He was worried about finding his way home. He felt as if someone or something was leading them through the woods. Morgan's words came back to him. The old stories are always with us. We're never alone. Jack looked up at the stars again. They were beginning to fade in the growing light of dawn. But he thought he could hear the beating of giant wings, someone high above. More facts for you and Jack.